All right, it is officially 5:30, so I'm going to go ahead and call this regular meeting of the Marion County Board of Education to order. I need a motion on item 1A, please.
I will make a motion to approve the August 8th, 2024 board meeting agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2 is our Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence, and we've got our first round of student ambassadors here.
Ready, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily Mattingly and I'm a senior at Marion County High School. My parents are Bruce and Robin Mattingly.
Hi, my name is Sai Kato, and I am also a senior at the high school, and my parents are Aya and Yuki Kato.
Hi everyone, my name is Brooke Cameron, and I'm a senior at Marion County High School, and my parents are Angie and Doug Cameron.
Hello everyone, my name is Josie Mattingly, and I'm also a senior at the high school, and my parents are Janice and Jason Mattingly.
Hi everyone, I'm also a senior at Marion County High School, and my parents are Joe and Lisa Buckler. And we are your Student Ambassador Executive Council this year.
This summer, 10 rising seniors had an amazing opportunity to attend the Governor's Scholars Program. I, as one of those participants, attended Morehead State University.
Miranda and I were able to attend the program as well, and we went to Center College. It was an eye-opening experience for everyone.
This summer, I had the opportunity to travel to Savannah, Georgia with the National Beta Group, and we got to cheer on Indy Young as she was named the National Senior Beta Vice President.
Just this Saturday, 18 girls, including myself, we were able to participate in DYW's Marion County program. Our theme this year was My Old Kentucky Home, and our two groups were the Derby Darlings and the Bluegrass Beauties.
And we just wanted to thank the board and you all for your time, and especially thank the board for always supporting the student ambassadors.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ladies. Moving on to item 3A is public comment, and we don't have anybody signed up this evening. Item 3B is our superintendent report. Mr. Brady?
All right. So first I want to say we've had a fantastic start to the school year. So we've had 2 great days. And Kim, I want to make you aware of a couple of updates. So I love this picture of the existing Calvary and the new Calvary side by side. But as you can see, the building is starting to look like a finished product. So work is continuing. We were featured on WHAS 11, and they actually want to come back and do a story a little bit later on when Calvary is completed. But they loved the fact that the 2 buildings are side by side, and you can actually see that the comparison there. So again, a lot of work going on there, and it looks fantastic. So this is a big deal, and so $33,359.10, and that is what we got to check for this week for a rebate or a refund of money that we've paid into the Kentucky Unemployment Insurance Program. And so I want to highlight that because that means that the central office and our staff are doing what they're supposed to do. They're following up on these claims and they're processing them as they're supposed to do. And when you do that and you follow up and you're precise, then we get money back. So I just want to highlight that because that means that the office is doing a great job and that it's putting money back into the general fund, which is always a good thing. So lots of things to share with school nutrition for the summer. So the Marion County School Nutrition Department handed out over 101,000 meals during the summer meal distribution. So you can see our thank you note we got on the left-hand side there, and the little fella who picked up his meals on his tractor there. So again, lots of great memories with that program and lots of smiles in the line as they picked those up. Continuing on with school nutrition, so we had the good fortune, and thank Ms. Wheeler for her work with this, but we actually hosted the first Central Kentucky School Nutrition mini conference And Jennifer, you told me 200, and how many people showed up?
215 were
200?
registered.
Okay, so 215 lunchroom workers from across central Kentucky showed up. We had a guest speaker for them, a vendor show, and breakout session. So it was well attended, and Marion County was well represented in that. So thank Ms. Wheeler and her staff for all of her hard work with that. Transition Day, so the district held a transition day on August 2nd. We had about 1,000 students show up, and it was just a modified school day that really just prepared students and staff and our bus drivers for this school year. As everyone is aware, we had several changes with our grade level configuration, our bus routes. Nearly all of our bus routes changed in some way, so just a lot of changes for this school year. So we wanted to have a trial run with that to avoid any potential issues. So again, well attended, lots of smiles that day, and I've heard several people talk about how fantastic the first day of school went, and they attribute that to the soft opening that we had on August 2nd. So again, just a good day there. So our new teacher academy, the district hosted a new teacher academy recently to help new teachers prepare for the upcoming school year. So you can see all of our new folks there at Marion County High School Library. It was a day to prepare them from everything from how do you sign up for health insurance to what options do you have for investments to, classroom management. It was just kind of a one-size-fits-all kind of approach. So again, just it was a good opportunity for them to be prepared to start the school year. Had quite a bit of professional development. Ms. Thomas is back there shaking her head. So we teachers used days in July and August to work on new curriculum, standards alignment, and school team building. So you can see some good pictures there. Continuing on for professional development, so we had an opportunity to send some teachers to the Elevate Your Classroom conference in Nashville, and then we had quite a few people go to the Get Your Teach On conference in Orlando. So we were able to provide some really good professional development to our teachers that wanted to attend this summer, and again, you see lots of smiles there. It was just a great opportunity for them to grow professionally. And then finally, the first day of school that I mentioned earlier. So I think this speaks for itself. But look at all the smiles. Mr. Hibbert there with his 32nd year, and Mr. Howard there beside him for year 1. So we've got a little bit of everything in between. So again, just a great first day. And then the last thing, and this is going to take a little bit of time, but when the board did my evaluation a month or so ago, one of the things we talked about was strategic planning, and that's a goal that they have for me. So we have prepared what our Marion County Schools' strategic priorities will be for the upcoming school year, and this is really a culmination of the work that Mr. Stokes helped us with from SREB and all of our teams that we put together last year, our focus teams, and again, it was a culmination of a year's worth of work. So Mr. Stokes is actually here tonight to present to us sort of the final product and again, what we developed here with our strategic planning. So Mr. Stokes, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you kind of finish up and do your thing.
They told me I had to come stand over here. So I want to take just a minute to thank you all for inviting me here today. There's something about August. People in education know this. It's the beginning of the year, and getting a chance to drive through the bluegrass and see the crops coming in, and it's just soul cleansing. The waxed floors, it's just been great. So thank you all very much. I needed that personally. So what we did last spring was, if you go ahead, Kim. Last spring we met with some focus team representatives. Now, focus teams is what SREB calls subcommittees. And so what we did was we reviewed, revised, and validated the new mission and vision statement. We looked at some of the key characteristics from the profile for success. Next one, Kim. And so some of the work that we propose to continue with Dr. Brady and his team, determine the goals, objectives, and action steps to achieve the vision of Marion County Schools, making sure that this turns into actual things that are going to drive the work in the district. We started that work back last spring, as I mentioned, and we expect them to continue to meet to further those goals and update the process. Go ahead, Cam. So in connecting the work of the strategic plan, or the work that you guys do every day with the strategic plan, was one of our main priorities. And I use that word very carefully because we came up with 3 priorities. Go ahead. That help achieve this mission statement and vision statement. So the mission statement that we landed on was to build a dedicated community focused on preparing learners for academic and career success. And then the vision statement is Marion County Schools will ensure that every student has the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive. That was something that we addressed with you guys back last spring. I think those are very solid mission and vision statements that the work can hang on. So when we talk about the vocabulary of strategic planning, a mission is what the district is compelled to do every day, all day. From the superintendent all the way, to the teacher, the custodian, everybody that takes a check from Marion County Public Schools, that's their mission statement. The vision is what will the future look like if we accomplish all the things in our mission. And so we came up with the priorities, and those priorities were distilled, if I can use that word, from all of the things that the stakeholders said were important to them. When you look at all of the things, and I've got a couple of slides that list them, we came out with 3 real solid categories, if you will, of what was meaningful to the stakeholders. And then when we look at the components, those are the specific around the priorities that come from the existing profile of a graduate. So we honored the work that had been done. We didn't come in and scrap everything and say, well, you got to start over new. So we've honored that work, and we've made this new strategic plan revisit mesh with what has already been done. Go ahead, Kim.
And that was one of the things that our teachers in particular, that they felt was important, is that we honor what we've already been doing and find a way to sort of, like Mr. Stokes said, to fine tune that and make it go with what it looks like for the future.
That's one of the things that we make sure when you involve teachers, you have to listen to them. So when we did have those conversations with the interviews, we got a chance to really hear what Dr. Brady's talking about. So some of the guiding questions that we considered: what are the hopes, dreams, and aspirations that our community has for our young people? That was so just Americana at its best. The people of Marion County want nothing but the best for their students, and they were able to articulate that in a lot of different ways. Then we started looking at what are the skills and mindsets that our kids need to find success. I mean, this world is changing rapidly. I don't have to tell anybody in this room how fast it's changing with the technology that's coming out. And then we look at what are the implications of the design of the learning experiences and equitable access to those experiences that we provide in our schools. So designing assignments, designing experiences like work-based learning that we're going to hear about later on with the Skills USA folks. But those are the pieces that we really want to make sure line up with our strategic priorities that are local in origin. Go ahead. So here's one of the slides about the survey results, the priorities of the stakeholders. I'm not going to read all those to you. Some of those probably sound very familiar. Go ahead, Kim. The next slide is the same thing, some more of the interview responses. And again, the list of stakeholders included community members, business and industry partners, teachers, classified staff, central office staff, leaders. There were the building leaders had their own little meeting. You guys, got to talk to you guys. And so these were all things that were important to the community at large. Go ahead, Kim. And so what we did was we came up with the graphic, and you'll see a portion of it on the placemat that we've got in front of you this evening. So this kind of looks at the 3 priorities being the foundation for that profile of a graduate or profile of success, however you want to look at it. So if I'm in a middle school, yeah, I want my kids to graduate, but that wheel is also something that I'm going to do in the elementary school or the middle school. So it's really a profile of success in general. But those 3 cogs beneath it, and I'm going to tell just a little story if that's all right. So I first started to learn on the farm to drive when I was about 14 years old. Don't tell anybody, right? You could do that in Laurel County back in the 70s. Anyway, my grandfather had a 68 Chevy pickup truck, had a 3 on the tree. You probably know what I'm talking about. 3-speed, 3 gears, right? So you have to have all 3 of those gears to make that truck work right. Those are the 3 gears at the bottom. We have to have all 3. We have to have the academic preparedness, we have to have the employability preparedness, and we have to have the community preparedness. Those are the strategic priorities of Marion County Schools. Go ahead, Kim. Again, we looked at that portrait of a graduate, honored that work that was there. All 6 of those components of that portrait are very important in making sure that we achieve our vision of making students successful in the future. Go ahead. So when we line up the priorities with those 6 components, the academic preparedness really focuses on the content mastery and the creative thinkers. Employability preparedness, or being ready for the future, looks at being an effective communicator and being a problem solver. And then community preparedness is where we get into constructive collaborators and committed individuals. So that you can see those on your placemat, some of the things that go into that. Go ahead, Kim. Let's switch to the next one as well. And one more. I put too many slides on my stuff. All right, so in the academic preparedness, when we talk about content masters, that's all the stuff that comes out of your comprehensive district improvement plan. So we want to make sure that we're improving proficiency scores on reading, math, science, social studies, and writing exams, right? We want to close the achievement gap. We want to make progress with our English language learners. That's content mastery. When you look at creative thinkers, it gets a little more, less hard data. You want kids that are able to accept challenges, okay? The ladies that stood up here and talked about going to Governor's Scholars. When you go to Moorhead College for the summer and you're a junior in high school, that's a challenge, right? Create new ideas. We definitely need to create new ideas because the future's being created for us if we don't. I love when you come down here on the corner and you see Independent State's research building. They're researching all the time. They're creating new ideas, right? You also want your students to be ready for future changes. Again, the schools that we've got right now are not the schools that we all went to. The schools that our kids are going to go to in 20 years are not the schools that we've got right now. So being ready for those future changes and being able to be a creative thinker around that. Next one, Kim. Employability preparedness. What do we mean? When we talk about effective communication, you have to be able to communicate in all 4 of those areas. You need to be able to write well, read well, be able to speak, be able to listen. That's the biggest one my wife tells me. And then being able to do that with a variety of audiences and purposes. So if I'm before a board, or if I'm before a church congregation, or if I'm before my classroom, how do I handle each of those different situations? Problem solvers. So thinking about authentic learning, thinking about that. Career technical education that goes on in this very building. And then the work-based learning that can happen anywhere. Go ahead. And then finally, the community preparedness. So how do we get kids ready to be a part of the community that they're in? We want them to be constructive collaborators. So how do you become a contributing member of the team? How do you give and receive feedback? How do you accept responsibility? Those things need to be intentionally taught through our assignments. Committed individuals, exhibiting good behavior in all environments. Certainly that's one of the things that we want to make sure happens. And you guys have good kids here. I've experienced the not so good kids in places. That's not a huge issue here, but we need to make sure that it maintains one of the priorities of the district. Self-awareness and advocacy. So how do I take care of myself as a student? How do I speak up when I think something's wrong? How do I speak up for myself when I think something's wrong? And then finally, community awareness and community projects. How do I engage the community with what's going on in the school? Go ahead, Keith. So again, those priorities form the foundation of that profile of a graduate. Go ahead. So what are the next steps? We want to make sure that the goals and the priorities need to be communicated every time we speak to somebody. So I would imagine when Dr. Brady talks, he's going to say, all right, remember we've got 3 priorities: academic preparedness, employability preparedness, and community preparedness. And today, this piece of the board meeting is about academic preparedness. Or the principal says, all right, these activities, this field trip is about employability preparedness. Those are the types of things that we want to hear throughout the school year. Go ahead. SRAB has a problem-solving process, and so this is one of the things that we did with our Focus Team PD last spring. Was we went through this process and we said, all right, so these are your priorities. Where are you now? What are your problems that you're experiencing? And once you find those, you go through this process. Go ahead, Kim. So final tips, the schools that make the greatest gains are the ones that continue the process. So you don't just fix one problem and say, all right, we're done. It's a continuous improvement process. Leaders in building leadership teams set expectations for this process. It goes all the way down to the student level, making sure that they understand that they've got a growth mindset, that they can change things that don't feel right, don't look right. Don't jump straight to actions in that problem-solving process. That's one of the things that we go. Make sure that you're addressing the root cause of a problem. Make sure you know what measures you're trying to change. And then finally, it's okay to test and abandon. So if we've got this great idea and we go out there and we do it and it doesn't work, it's okay to let that idea go and say, all right, teachers, don't do this anymore. Sometimes teachers need to be told not to do something anymore. And so that was one of the things, again, we looked at what we have done and said, all right, this was good, we're going to hang on to this, but here's some other things. I'm sure, Ms. Thomas has mentioned that through her PD over the summer. This is not what we're doing anymore, this is what we're doing. So, and I believe that's it. So thank you again very much. I always find it a pleasure coming up here and speaking with you guys. If there's anything further SREB or myself can do for you, Dr. Brady's got my information. And if you don't mind, I'm going to stay for just a little while because I want to hear from this young man. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have more?
No, that's it.
All right, moving on to item 3C, we're going to hear from our area technology student.
Hey guys, thank you for coming to ATC tonight, and thank you for the presentation, Mr. Stokes, because every time you talk, I think of all the great things that happen here in this building, and we're putting those portrait of a learner aspects into practice every day, and Logan's just a great example of that. This is Logan Harden. You have heard about Logan through Mr. Brady's superintendent report as he's made his journey through the Skills USA competition. I'll let Logan talk a little bit about his project and his journey, but Logan exemplifies for us what we do here. We kind of talk about that all the time. What is your school about? What do you do here? And we're gonna do our presentation a little different. I'm gonna ask Logan a few questions. He's gonna talk us through some things, and then I'm gonna let him show off his work that he took all the way to Atlanta, Georgia this summer through the Skills USA competition. So Logan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a senior at Marion County High School, and I like to work quite a bit.
He just came from work before he got here. Talk to us about how you ended up in the welding program.
So how I ended up in the welding program was my mom calling up here to get the classes because I could never get in, which I think I've only had previously 2 welding classes and now have 3 this year.
Yeah. So Logan got a late start. Welding is one of our most popular programs, completely full every single semester. I could have 2, and with Mr. Brady and I've talked about continuous growth, I could easily feed a second welding program. So Logan got a late start, but Logan caught up and hit the ground running when he got going. He didn't let any delay getting into his junior year before he got started hold him back. So we were thrilled to have Logan, and when his mom called, I said, we're absolutely going to work him in because this is what he wants to do. We want to give him that opportunity. Okay, so talk to us how you got involved in Skills USA.
Well, how I got involved in Skills USA was Mr. Benefield. He came to me one day asking if I wanted to join the club and then make a project to take to regionals.
And you said?
I said, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I've only got 40 hours put into the whole thing.
So Skills USA, after COVID, all of our student organizations kind of took a dip because after COVID, it's hard to get all the conferences going back up again and things. So as we started to rebuild, Mr. Benningfield and Mr. Spalding said, we'll do skills. We've got some kids that'll do great things. And it's continuing to grow. And Logan was one of those students who said, yeah, I'll join because they're optional. Our student organizations are optional. So Logan wanted to get committed. He was committed to the welding program, and he saw that there was a welding sculpture event, and then he went all in. So tell us a little bit about your sculpture and the competition aspect, Logan.
So a little bit about my sculpture. It took around about 40 hours. I did all of these by hand, made all of it.
Let's pull it up so they can see it. Go ahead, you can pull it up there and show me what you got.
Let's go in there. Spin around. But yeah, I did all 3 processes that we have here: TIG welding, MIG welding, and stick welding on all of it. I did TIG at least because it was my first time ever doing that. I did it on the little toolbox here. You see it. And, yeah, like I said, I've got 40 hours in it. The logs, they honestly took the longest out of everything because you had to weld each and every one of the beads on there. And that's what took the majority of my time up for the whole thing.
So Logan's really humble and doesn't talk about all the great things he does. So every single piece of this sculpture was stock material, just plain stock material. For example, the logs, Logan said he laid bead on every single one of those. They were literally just metal pieces of metal that he had a vision to turn into logs. So we went to Regions. First time we'd been to Regions ever.
Got second place.
Got
there.
second place. Came back a little upset. He was like, "Ooh, I was so much." But anyway, it's part of it. But first and second qualified for state, which was where?
Is in Louisville, at the Grand Plaza.
Yeah, Crown Plaza down there.
Yeah.
And then you got what at state?
I won at state. I got first place at state.
Yep. So let's talk about the region and state event. So you have to do the sculpture, of course, but what else did you have to do while you were there?
So while I was there at regionals,
Or state, yeah.
At regionals, you didn't have to do nothing, but you had to take a professional development test, and I forgot to do that. Or something.
Like I said, we were learning, weren't we?
Yeah,
We were learning.
first time.
But he had a binder and he had an interview.
Yep, had the binder and everything. We had the interview, it's a short interview. I thought I did pretty good on it, but I didn't do good as the other girl did. And regionals is fairly easy then. We went to state, and the interview was a lot more professional, like it was a lot better set up. They had a lot more questions they asked you. There wasn't no on-site welding or nothing there, sadly. I thought there would be, so we took a bunch of welding stuff there. And then going to nationals in Atlanta, Georgia, when I got there, we had to do an orientation thing there. And then we had a written test, a weld test, and then the interview. And then you had to wait a few days for you to get all your judging and stuff. I think I placed 18th there.
In the nation, yeah.
Yeah.
We got Logan's scores back, and they were just incredible. The feedback the judges give, and the email that you got from one of the judges about he had shown your project, he'd taken pictures and shown your project to someone who ran a logging company and was just fascinated.
It was the state director for Skills USA.
Of course it was. So they were just super tickled, like with Logan's thing. He did a binder project, so there's so much that goes into the event besides just the hands-on skill portion that Mr. Stokes talks about. And Logan just jumped all in. He would come to my office and we would work on his binder. We would work on his interview. Mr. Benningfield would help him say hours and hours after school. Most of this was done after school during remediation or ESS type time, and Logan was committed to just get it done. So every single piece of that sculpture is raw material, down to the cuts on the tires. So what was your favorite part of nationals, and what are we doing to prepare senior sculpture?
Well, my favorite part of nationals was just being able to get out and go there and see all the people, meet new people.
Yeah.
You know, like trade the pins back and forth.
Yeah. So Logan met students from all these states. There's a pin competition at Skills USA, and every state's designed their own pin. Logan swapped pins from Kentucky with other states. So he brought all those back, and that's a memory he'll get to have forever. And are we going back we're going to do welding sculpture again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what my plan is.
Are you doing a new sculpture, or are you going to keep this one?
No, you have to make a new one.
There you go. What's it going to be this year?
I don't know. I'm thinking something like with the ocean or something to do with that. 'Cause that's what everybody seems to like there. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So that's my plan anyways. To get started on it soon.
Get started on it soon, because he's up here two times in the morning, a couple times next semester. Logan wants to spend most of his day here, so that's good. But at least half a day, he participates in our work-based learning program. As do a lot of our seniors, we've been placing students in co-op all week. But when he can show off an experience like this, Logan was very quiet when he first came to the ATC. Very quiet. Miss Brady remembers Logan from back in the day, and there's just so much that Logan's evolved into this great young man that's going to do great big things. What do you want to do in your future, Logan?
My plan is to be a pipe welder and go to Kentucky Welding Institute after I graduate. It's my plan if I can get some more scholarship money from welding competitions they have.
How many thousands have you already earned?
I think I've got 4,000. I think I've got some keys money as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. The goal is the Kentucky Welding Institute hosts competitions that our students, like Logan and other students, can go to, and they get scholarship money to go there. So that's what we always try to get our students to get that jump start on paying for an education. So, anything else you want to add, Logan, or anything you want to talk about the ATC or anything that we haven't already mentioned?
Just other than I really enjoy being up here, and it's a good environment. I like the welding shop.
Yeah.
And the teachers and staff, everybody's pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, well, you guys are all nice.
We're just a little bit nice. No.
Could be worse.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. But when I started, I said Logan exemplifies what we do here, just providing those opportunities. You know, our slogan is paving the way to the future for our students, and it's in our community, even in our businesses, and we try to do that every single day with what we do. And you know, when Logan got first at state, and I said, "Do you want to go to nationals?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, let's make it happen," because that's a trek. You know, that's a trek. Mr. Benningfield and another student went down and spent the week and had a great opportunity to see and learn things that they couldn't have learned even here at our school. So I'm proud of you, Logan.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Good deal. So, so thanks for coming to the ATC. You're always more than welcome, board members, to come up here and see Logan and other students in action. So please stop by and see us. Thank you for the support you give the ATC and taking care of our building and taking care of our facilities, because we couldn't do it without you. And we have a vision, and we're going to continue to grow. So we're excited. It's going to be a great year. Thank you. Yeah, I think you're right. Logan's gonna come and have supper now. He hasn't had anything since lunch.
Logan, I just told him it even has a gear shift. So
Can't
Yes,
believe the
absolutely.
detail that's in that piece, so.
Thank you,
you all.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, that was amazing. Moving on to item 3B is our attendance and enrollment report. Ms. Akers?
Hello, how are you guys? Logan sure exemplifies why those opportunities are so important. It's refreshing. For our enrollment, this is as of today. So Calvary Elementary has, of course, this doesn't have preschool, so preschool hasn't started until the 20th. So in the September meeting, I will have those preschool numbers. But as of today, Calvary has an enrollment of 213 students. Glasscock has 398. Lebanon Elementary has an enrollment of 283, while West Marion has 359. At Lebanon Middle School, they have 323 students, and Marion County Middle, 287. The high school has 890 students this year, and QC Spalding has 147 for a total of 2,900 students. Not a lot of attendance to talk about, but of course yesterday our attendance was at 100% and today 98.14. As the year progresses, we will fill in monthly and the year-to-date attendance. Nothing on that yet. We are 2 days in with 171 days left for the 24-25 school year. Last year, in May, our homeschool numbers were 152. This year, in August, they are 127. And Ms. Cox, I have to give kudos to her because we worked pretty hard calling people that were on homeschool to say, hey, let's talk about some opportunities, and just trying to get them back into the school. This is a picture that I took with every year, and this year is no exception. We get with emergency personnel, EMS, fire department, SROs, police officers, and we do a walkthrough of every school building just so that they're aware of maybe where the water shut off is. But we just talk about the building, look at the layout, and then we also discuss the school's emergency management plan. So I'm tickled to have that collaboration with them. They are so just willing to be helpful, and they really appreciate getting into the buildings. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
I just want to commend Ms. Cox and Ms. Akers. They worked all summer making phone calls and meeting with parents and just doing a lot of work to try to get our students their homeschool back. So I just want to say publicly, thank you.
We're not done. I'm still not.
All right, moving on to item 3E is our finance report. Scott?
Good evening. Take a look at July. Traditionally, July is a boring month. It's the first month of the new fiscal year. The biggest thing I'll point out there is that beginning balance of $11 million. It's not exactly even. We're rounded up just a little bit, the unaudited number. The audit is underway, and we've seen those folks from White Company later, and that number will be adjusted based on a few things. Overall, we're up $82,000 in revenue compared to this time last year in July. Part of that is to do with the $33,000 that Mr. Brady mentioned on the unemployment refund, so we have some things in there. Expenditures are pretty much flat too. We spent $6,000 more this year in July than we did last year. So we spent over $500,000, only spent $6,000, so we're $76,000. It's good. Next month is a busy month. We'll be presenting the tax rate to you guys at September board meeting, as well as the working budget. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 4A. I need a motion, please.
Make a motion to consider approval of the 2023-24 adult meal prices.
Second.
Is that a typo? 24, 25?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Okay. So,
So we need to change that.
yeah, if
Yeah,
you'll
it's
remake
for-
your
it's
motion.
for this year.
Yeah, just remake your motion, change the years for me, please.
I make a motion to consider approval of the 2024-25 adult meal prices.
And I will second.
Thank you very much. All right.
How much are they? I'm sorry.
Breakfast $3.15 and lunch $4.85.
I take it.
Yeah.
Other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion on item 5A, please.
Make a motion to consider approval to declare used items of the Marion County High School band surplus and the proceeds for the sale of these items to the Marion County High School band program.
Second.
I'm curious, as a band alum, what's on this list? I might want like my old cummerbund or something.
So again, I just have to commend Mr. McRae. He's come in new and he has tried to go through every bit of equipment that we have and see what's good and what's not, and he has recommended this list. So
Awesome.
he has done a fantastic job so far.
I'll have to keep my eye on it and see if there's anything I want. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion on item 5B, please.
I move to consider approval of surplus radio equipment.
Second.
Any questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion on item 5C.
Make a motion to consider approval of contract with Ross Tarn Architects for the 2025 district facilities plan.
Second.
Any questions here? Scott, I know that we're coming, when do we have to,
So it's due in June of 2025.
Okay.
And starting the next month's board meeting, we'll start the process of assembling the local planning committee. There's a couple of things we'll need you all to do, the community members, as well as one of you all will be serving on that committee. You'll all select like groups, select their representative. The principals will select their principals, teachers select teachers, parents select parents, and kind of falls in place as a 20-member panel. And so this will get the legwork with the contract started with architects to start doing the observations of the building, to see how we follow mile from our program at the state, and then go over with that group to develop a new district facilities plan to recommend to you all next late spring or late summer.
can we expect any changes in like the K-6 process or anything that's gonna impact how we do that?
It's pretty much the same unless Randy has more.
It is the same. So the K-6 all gets updated, and then the DFP is that process of the local planning committee meeting, and several times, a lot of information is shared about community demographics and projections of enrollment, et cetera. That LPC then puts that DFP draft together. that's reviewed with the LPC and then the board before it all gets finalized. One little change, the final DFP just goes to KDE facilities. It does not go to the Kentucky Board of Education as it used to do. So it used to be we had to back up 45 days before the regular KBE, which they meet every 2 months anyway. But now it just goes to KDE facilities for their review and approval. Unless there's some question about anything, then it goes to KDE.
Any other questions for Dr. Randy? All in favor? Aye. Randy, you're stuck with us for a little while.
All right, that's exciting.
Moving on to item 5D, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to consider approval of pay application number 4 to Griggs Enterprises in the amount of $264,995.70 for work performed on Glasscock Elementary masonry and window replacement project.
Second.
Any questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion on item 5E.
Well, I'll move to consider approval of pay app number 6 to Hare Construction LLC in the amount of $3,207.30 for work performed on the Marion County outdoor classrooms, BG number 23-328.
I'll second.
Specifically, which
That's
outdoor
for the
classroom?
Calvary Flyers.
Okay.
This is closing that project out, so this is the last straw on that.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion on item 5F, please.
I'll move to consider approval of pay app number 2 to Escola LLC, or Escola, whatever the proper pronunciation is, in the amount of $46,575.00 for work performed on the Marion County ATC partial roof replacement, BG number 24-118.
Second.
And I think we can hear them hard at work right now. Other questions, comments on this one? Okay. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion on item 5G.
Make a motion to consider approval of the change order number 1 for the Glasscock ESNX and O bus garage roof replacements, BG number 24-121.
Second.
Do we have an amount here?
It's not an amount. So what it is where we changed the, added the masonry scope to those 2 buildings, we had to push the back their timelines. So this just adds some days to that project to coincide with the masonry part.
All in favor? Aye. Need a motion on item 5H.
I make a motion to consider approval of pay app number 2 to Escola LLC in the amount of $13,950 for work performed on the Marion County Middle partial roof replacement, BG 24-119.
Second.
Any questions or comments here? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion on item 5I.
Well, if I mess up, you all tell me, because I've got blurred vision today. Age showing through. Make a motion to consider approval of pay app number 5 to Central Kentucky Glass in the amount of $70,175 for work performed and $3,405 to vendors for materials on the Marion County Middle School partial window glazing replacement, BG number 24-120.
Well, I read it that way too, and I'll second it.
Thank you.
Good.
What's the status on that?
This is, if I may jump in, they're about 99% complete. There's a few miscellaneous pieces of glass still to be installed. We'd also included an allowance in the contract that the district, as we wrap things up, we could go around and identify additional pieces of glazing that we wanted to change, and that's part of their work to remain. They've ordered that additional glass, and when it gets in, they will install it in a time that does not impact the students or the classrooms, the educational spaces. So Central Kentucky Glass has done an excellent job out there and has been responsive and has really kept on a good schedule and completed that work, and it looks really good.
Other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion on item 5J, please.
Well, I move to consider approval of change order number 1 in the amount of $1,555 for the Marion County Middle School partial window glazing replacement, BG number 24-120.
I'll second.
Any questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion on item 5K. I'll make a motion to consider approval of pay app number 16 to Griggs Enterprises in the amount of $1,111,300.31 for work performed and $158,145.81 to vendors for materials on the new Calvary Elementary School, BG number 22-052.
Second.
Okay. Any questions here?
As we're approaching completion or getting toward the final end, what's that date still look like?
We're looking at November.
November 21st is the substantial completion date.
And how does that look moving forward as far as moving in? And is it still going to be over Christmas break?
That's our plan, yeah. So, of course, that'd be contingent on furniture, which we anticipate November 7th, correct? So we're well on our way.
And it looks great. It's
Amazing.
Big milestone this month, they got the electrical switch gear in and got that installed.
Awesome.
They've been waiting on that for many months.
Exciting stuff.
When he says months, he means over a year.
Well.
Just clarify.
All right, all in favor? Aye. I need a motion on item 5L, please.
make a motion to consider approval of change order number 15 in the amount of $3,215.59 for the new Calvary Elementary School, BG 22-052.
Second.
You want to clarify?
Yeah, so I can clarify on that. So the two things on that one. So one of the things is in the original scope of work project, it had asphalt striping of one coat, and the base coat's been put down, so we wanted to go ahead and have that striped for the traffic for at least in the interim period, so that would take care of that. And then there was no electric to the flagpole, and we wanted to be able to put a light on that, so we recommend adding that.
Questions? All in favor? Aye. Need a motion on 5M.
Make a motion to consider approval of DPO change order number 2138-27-01 for a credit of $4,644 for the new Calvary Elementary School, BG number 22-052.
Second.
Any questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion on item 5N.
Move to consider approval of DPO change order number 2138-16-01 for a credit of $828 for the new Calvary Elementary School, BG number 22-052.
Second.
You want to talk about these two?
Yes, I can actually talk about both of those. So the credit of $4,644 is actually for a milk dispenser that was included in the project. We wanted to utilize the same type of milk dispenser that we have at the high school that does not require our folks to carry bags of milk. We want to actually be able to pump that out of the, whatever it's called, the canister. So this would actually be deleting this, and then we would add a different type the same that we have at the high school. And then the $828 credit is a deletion of 9 access panels that really are just duplicated that we don't need because we have chase behind that wall, and then window numbers on the outside of the building.
Is it still the intention to pay for the milk dispenser out of?
It is not.
Not, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all good. All right. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion on item 6, please.
Make a motion to approve student learning and support consent items A through R.
I second.
Joey, you want to offer our thank yous?
I do. Thank yous to many people here. To Lebanon Tourism for $2,000 for the Marion County boys basketball team. for a $10,000 donation from Kentucky Cooperage. Thank you so much for the Marion County High School Football Bowl, and acceptance of a donation from Steve Swartz, is that pronounced correctly? In the amount of $27,800 for new lockers. So thank you guys and everybody that supports. I mean, thank you so much.
What kind of engines are those? What kind of small engines are those?
I'm gonna, also $1,000 from Briggs and Stratton. I'm gonna guess lawnmower engines.
Or something similar to a lawnmower engine. They teach a small engine repair class.
It says 1,000.
It's over $1,000.
$114 per engine.
Correct.
They're probably used
Yeah.
to learn to work on. Rebuild.
Great.
Yes. Did I miss anything?
Good. All right, all in favor? Aye. Moving on to item 7, acknowledgement of personnel actions. So acknowledged, and I need a motion on item 8, sir. down at
Madam
the
Chair,
end.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
That was fast.